To show your presentation, and this is a recorded presentation. We do that so that the people who can't be here right now are able to review later. So just so you know, every episode we've had is available on our website, and this one will be as well. If you are comfortable with that, please leave your video on. We love to participate. If you are not able to do so, that's okay as well. We will offer the chat box to you as I can. If you aren't familiar with Zoom, there is a button you can click that will open the chat box, and then you can use that for any participation that, any questions you might have that you want to pop in there. But please do remember to remain on mute when you're not speaking. It helps us to keep the mission focused. So, and it is okay to leave early. That's absolutely fine. We have no problems with that. Like we said, you can always check it out later too if you wanted to check back in. And so while we are getting settled into our new space, you can use this opportunity to introduce yourself in the chat box. And if you wanted to include an email or website, you can do that there, but we'll also give everyone an opportunity to talk a little bit about who they are. And so we start with our introductions first. I'm Cassandra. I'm your host today. You will hear from our other staff as well. We are missions filled, missions friends, and we're going to be going through some growth spurts and some changes. So if you have any questions at any point throughout the transformation of our program, please let us know. The missionsfilled.org still works right now, so does missionsfriends.com. So I am affiliated also with the Creative Classes with Cassandra is my art program, and I attend Mount Hope. So I'm going to pass it to the next person, and then they're going to introduce themselves, and then they'll pass it to the next person after that. So I'm going to pick on Amber Paxton. If you want to pass, that's okay. But if you want to just jump in real quick and say who you are, that's great. If not, I'll keep going.
I'm Amber Paxton. I am the director of the Office of Financial Empowerment at the City of Lansing, which is part of the Department of Neighborhoods, Arts, and Citizen Engagement.
And so then you would just pick the next person. So Amber, if you had wanted to, you could pick Emily Palmer. And then Emily, when you're all done, you can pick the next person until everybody's gone through. So that's just, we like to, put the pressure on you guys too. So.
Hi, good morning. My name is Emily Palmer. I am with Christ Community Church and A Lot More Fun Comedy Club. We opened a comedy club in the basement of the church and just trying to bring people in from that way. We've also got extra space that we're looking to do additional things with as well. And thank you, Erica, for the invite. Was that it? I don't know. And then I guess Christy.
Hi, my name is Christy Maniscalco. I'm the ministry leader for Celebrate Recovery at Trinity Church in Lansing.
Who would you like to go next?
Let's go with Stephen.
Hey, my name is Stephen McCory. I'm a peer recovery coach at Lifeboat Network Center. Also, I am in charge of community development and just trying to build relationships with other organizations and other people that would be partnerships with us in helping to, hit the grounds and really be in the field when it comes to recovery. So grateful to be here. I think we'll go with Erica.
Thanks, Stephen. I was going to. I'm Erica. I am on staff with Missions Field. I'm the database manager, and I'm also the founder of a nonprofit called Jubilee, and I attend church at Lansing South Church of the Nazarene. And I don't think Vicky went yet, so I'm going to pick Vicky.
Good morning. I am Vicki Parker. I am the owner and founder of Elite Focus Enterprise, Inc., which is a K through 12 and failing enrichment program. I originally lived in Lansing and I went away for 4 years. Now I'm back. So I have a lot of resources to offer the city of Lansing along with youth housing. And Adam, that's who invited me.
All right, sure, why not? I'm glad you guys are here. Angela just jumped on and off, but I'll probably hope she'll jump on when I'm done. Oh yeah, my name is Adam. I am founder, coordinator of Missions Field, and yeah, I attend the Bread House Church. Also, I help consult churches on outreach for growth and community impact. And so Angela is up next since she rejoined us. But Angela, just introduce yourself and your spaces that you're operating in.
Well, good morning, everybody. So I am representing a couple spaces here. I have my own LLC, Step Into Wellness, where I'm doing healthcare advocacy and exercise, that kind of thing, seminars about health. That also transcends into my position with Pilgrim Rest Baptist Church as the health ministry leader. And I am also doing some consulting. Wow, my words are rough today, with Missions Field. So it's definitely an honor to be here and to have this opportunity to speak with you all today. I am going to be doing some feeding of the homeless on the third Saturday of every month down at the AFL-CIO building at lunchtime, 11 o'clock. I'm going to put that in the Missions Field website so that if anybody wants to join me, they're expecting about 60 people each month. And I'll just be planning a meal and working with others to provide that meal to those who are in need. And I would appreciate your support and your help and mostly your prayers. So thank you, Adam.
All right, great job, everybody. Thanks for playing along, and remember to use the chat box if you want to drop, just like Vicki did. Thank you, Vicki, for that. If you want to put any of your contact info there. Our contact info is in the website, and it's also, you can see here our team. Adam, Erica, Rochelle is behind the scenes doing paperwork, and myself in our respective titles. And those titles do change as we grow. And we always want to encourage people to reach out to us, and we will get you connected with the people that you need to talk to if you have any questions about our network that we've built for you, that Adam built that we could help with. And the next slide is the official announcement. Whenever you're ready. Okay, so missionsfield.org, as I mentioned, is changing to missionsfriends.com. There isn't anything as far as our mission in general that's changing, but we still want to encourage you to join our network. It's a social community for volunteers, missionaries, leaders, and we are building something that currently does not exist outside of our network, and we want to meet those needs of the population that vulnerable families are expressing in the best way possible, which is through partnerships with different nonprofits. So if you're here, it's because you want to help, and we want to help you do that. So we can all work together and make the city a better place every day. And you can join our network through missionsfriends.com. Once you get onto that website, you'll see different options for joining. We have different levels, but basically you start with the Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Apple. And then when you get into the network, it'll show you different ways you can participate. The most important way to participate is to tell us who you are. The About section gives us information that helps others to know what they can gain from knowing you, how we can help one another. And here's an example of Alyssa. She works for the nonprofit network, and she did a really great job, so we use hers as an example. And if you have any questions about that, please do let me know. As a member coordinator, I'm happy to help you. And the next section is the additional information that talks about things like websites. You can create posts in there. We try to keep it updated about any, Erica's really good about posting events, information about people. We just had a little story about Stephen in there, which is cool, and also some artists in the community, testimonials, anything like that. Please bring it, share it. This is the place where all of that is welcome, and it's a lot less messy than Facebook, so you'll get direct connections that way. And then next I want to talk about the agenda. So our agenda pretty much stays the same every month with different topics. So this day is going to be, we're going to start with evaluation, about how churches can help families and what their needs are. We want to equip our partners, that being you as well as other nonprofits, so that they can be empowered by highlighting inspiring stories in the community. And most importantly, we want to help get missions filled, as their primary focus is to help the laborers that are in the Lansing area so that the harvest is ready when the time comes and those people's needs are met. No one is invisible. And I am going to pass it off to Miss Erica. She's going to talk about how we evaluate. Thank you so much.
Hello again, I'm Erica, and we're going to talk about evaluating the needs and strengths of local churches and how we can leverage those to impact our communities. So on our website, we have a spot where you can share your outreach needs. So if you go in there and click on share outreach needs, that's where you can fill out a survey that will tell us more. We're creating a asset map of different resources and things in the community. Adam will probably say more about that later, but your entry into that survey will help us build that map. So we would really appreciate it if you would get a chance to fill that out. And next we're going to move on. Oh, wait. We're going to do a little quick interactive activity where we're all going to drop in the chat something that our church's outreach is doing or has as an asset to help impact families in the Lansing area this year. Some examples are things like in ministries to incarcerated populations, response to homelessness, food pantries, etc. So let's all just take a minute and drop what our church is doing in the chat. I'm just going to type in real quick. Our church, South Naz, has an open gym most Thursdays throughout the school year, where Everett students come and just hang out and play basketball and have a safe and trustworthy place to, you know, be with their friends and live life. We can see that Mount Hope is hosting City Quake. And the Bread House has a food pantry. Okay, we can move on to the next slide when everyone's ready. Stephen has a East Lansing SDA Bible study and some other cool thing that I couldn't see because I went by so fast. And Christy Maniscalco from Celebrate Recovery at Trinity Church shared some things that Trinity is doing. They're working inside the Ingham County Jail. That's exciting. Ministering to trafficked women. Okay, next we'll move on to the equipping section of our meeting with Adam.
Thank you, Erica, and thank you, Sandra, for always helping us get to where we're going. I'll say I'm always grateful for these two because they help me remain accountable, and also are just a great skilled worker. I remember I was at a network meeting earlier, and to see the response that they were contributing to the meeting, and how people were like, man, that person, I won't say who or which person it was, but they were saying how they were so insightful and resourceful, and it just affirmed that I'm grateful that they're on my team. And so thank you again. And so with that being said, yeah, we're gonna have a quick discussion or presentation from a couple of people. But just to kind of recap what was said so far, the biggest thing is the community asset list of organizations and charitable people who are working in different sectors. And so when you do sign up on Missions Field and select an interest or a group that you're part of, that helps also identify on the back end. We have a Excel sheet with everybody's profile and information and then their interests. And then from that space, we're using that to build the asset list that will be public for people to be able to find ways to partner with those who are doing certain work. So for example, you can find all the entities that are working in the homeless sector, or all those who are working in the school sector to serve those areas. In particular, what churches are serving, what churches have programs to meet the needs of the youth. And today we're going to talk about a specific sector or issue or population, however you want to phrase it. But today we're going to speak upon how to outreach those who are in need of safe communities. So the safe communities, you guys can probably define that in many ways, but in particular, we have a consultant. Every meeting we have a consultant. We kind of connect those who attend to the consultant. So today we have a special guest, Stephen McCory, who is going to share some data of the need of our safe communities. And I'll say this is important because today I actually this morning I texted my mentor by the name of Tony Glasgow. She's one of my great mentors. And so she responded to one of my previous texts about a great idea, but she said her response was, it's an interesting idea, but how do you prove the need and how do you determine whether the resources already exist? And so when it comes to serving communities and serving people and residents as a church or even a nonprofit, the key thing is really surveying, is this really needed? Or is this something that just feels good? Or is it just something that might sound like a good idea, but may not be a good idea for those who are in your community because you haven't actually asked what they actually need? And so this is why it's important to have data and research before just jumping into doing a community service or action or a project, because that might, again, it may feel good, but a lot of times we miss the mark by not actually asking our community, what do we really need, whether it's youth, homeless populations, or so forth. And I'm sure you guys can relate as you guys are doing your work. But I think the challenge is always remembering to do the groundwork first of asking what it is the needs of residents. And so, Stephen, if you are ready, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Stephen. And then after that, we'll hear from another special guest about how their church is serving our community to be safe.
Yeah, thank you. I work in the drug addiction field as a recovery coach. Lifeboat is a network center, a drop-in center for people in recovery. 5 days a week, somebody can come in there. Most likely would be able to meet same day with a recovery coach and just kind of have their basic needs, like go through the analysis of what their immediate needs are. And we are also a lot of our focus this year has been actually being inside of the homeless shelters. Right now, we are in 4 homeless shelters once a week, doing the same thing, meeting with people, trying to figure out what their immediate needs are, and figuring out if addiction is a part of their homelessness, and what the relationship with that is. Last year we had over 137 overdoses from fentanyl. And that number is probably not even accurate. It's probably a lot more than that. So another thing that we're doing also is trying to uh, tackle addiction from the harm reduction standpoint, and being able to provide fentanyl test strips, and uh, uh, Narcan is another thing that our organization does. Um, this upcoming year, we've just our organization has been around for about 4 years. I've been part of the organization for a year now, and the owners of our company has expressed many times that they are baffled by the team that we have right now. We have such a symbiotic relationship. There's a lot of synergy, and so this upcoming grant period, um, we really have like flexibility in like how we're going to tackle recovery in our community. And that's kind of like my job is exactly like Adam said. Like as soon as I got my promotion as being in charge of community development, I was like overwhelmed. I'm like, I've never developed a community before. Like, how do you even go about doing that? So I asked my friend, and he was like, well, what did the community say? I was like, wow, like I'm sitting here thinking like, what do I want my job to be, instead of asking what should my job be, by asking the people around me who I would be serving. So really, I don't know what the hell to do. To be honest, I don't know how to tackle this, and I'm ready to kind of hit the ground and really have conversations with um, people who are, because there's two ways to look at it. You can ask somebody who might be in addiction, what is the thing that you need? And they'll have one perspective. Um, and then you also need to talk to people who have seen like professionals who've been in the field for a long time, of like, what do people need? Because it's they said like, you can't describe an elephant when you're standing too close to it. And sometimes people are so close to their problems, they can't really describe exactly what they need. So that's not to say that you shouldn't ask them, right? So it needs to be a two-sided approach, from the standpoint of, talking to individuals who are facing drug addiction and homelessness on a day-to-day basis, but then also talking with people who have been in the field of tackling it from different perspectives, whether it be like harm reduction or a complete abstinence program, or recovery coaches, psychologists or therapists, grassroots organizations, churches, people who have seen and been dealing with these problems from an outside standpoint as well. So I really think that that communication is key, as cliche as that sounds. And so, yeah, I'm here just basically to say, like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm not going to stop figuring it out. So I'm here to help facilitate any sort of conversations or partnerships um, that that need to take place. So that's really all I had to say. Um, uh, Other than Lifeboat is, again, like I said, we're very flexible in this next grant period, and that's going to be based on what kind of relationships we form over the next 6 months, and then writing for funding to fund those programs, so that we can really be facilitating, creative ways to approach these problems of addiction and homelessness.
Appreciate that, Stephen. All right, so next we got a special guest who's going to share how Celebrate Recovery operates at Trinity. This person I actually haven't met in person yet, but I've heard great things throughout maybe the past few months. So I'm excited to hear from Christy, who's going to share. And so, Christy, whenever you're ready.
Hi, like he said, my name is Christy. So Celebrate Recovery, just in a nutshell, is a Christ-centered 12-step recovery group. I liked somebody's definition the other day, because we're often misunderstood that it's like solely for people with chemical and drug addictions. But I like the definition of recovery I heard, which was returning to God's original purpose for my life. So people can come in with any kind of, as we say, a hurt, habit, or hang up. A hurt would be an experience that has damaged me or an offense against me, something that's left me kind of crippled emotionally, even if I'm unaware that that's what it is. And then a hang up is our roadblocks that keep you from progressing in what God's plan is for your life. So those might be like anxiety or fear or things like that. And then a habit being an addiction of some sort, whether it's a chemical addiction, a food addiction, gambling, relational addictions, as in codependency, that kind of thing. So, but it's very broad and it's family centered. So it is for the entire family. The adult side is for 18 years and up. And then we also have childcare, and we have Celebration Place, which we call pre-covery, which is working through the same materials, only written for children, for kindergarten through 5th grade. And then we also have a program called The Landing, which is Celebrate Recovery for middle and high school students. So we meet on Thursday nights, and the entire family can come, have dinner at 6. And then when the adults go down for their programming at 7, the kids can go down for theirs, and they have a safe place for the whole family to be while the parents are getting the recovery that they need. Trying to think of what else. I could talk forever on it. There's a lot of details, but I think in general, it's about not just sobriety, but about transformation. It's a God thing. So there are people that come in to Celebrate Recovery that are not Christian, and that is fine. But we are based on the 12 steps with the biblical comparisons and the 8 recovery principles that are found in the Beatitudes. So we are, Christ-centered, and the support idea is we're there to build community for people who are broken and wanting to heal. And they can go to professionals, go to counseling, go to all these wonderful things, but that might be an hour out of a week, or maybe even an hour out of a day. But what do you do for the rest of that time in your life? And that is to get connected to a community that can walk alongside you and encourage you as you're learning more about God and learning more about yourself, gaining a better understanding of who you are and why you function the way you do, and what God's purpose really is for you. So there's a whole lot more I could say, but I don't know like I said, we do meet every Thursday night year round, except Thanksgiving, because the church will be closed. But generally speaking, every other week, give or take an exception or two, we're there year round, and it's just a year round program. So I don't know if anybody else has any other questions. Outreach, we are an outreach. I can say that. People have heard the name Celebrate Recovery, and they will Google it and they will find us. And so, and other people, we're kind of like a conglomeration. I would say I have about 35 leaders right now. And out of my 35 leaders, probably half of them are from Trinity Church and the other half are from various other churches. So we're very much more of a community situation, and people come out of their brokenness looking for help. And they know they can find it here because they're familiar with the name Celebrate Recovery, or somebody has mentioned it to them. In addition, the jail, Ingham County Jail, came to us a couple of years, probably 2019, I think it was, asking us if we would come in and do Celebrate Recovery in the jail. And we started that, and then we gained a partnership with them. So Trinity started a jail ministry that is not just Celebrate Recovery, but going in on the weekends, doing weekend services, and they've just started doing one-on-ones, which is like a mentorship. And then we've been working a couple of years now on educating ourselves to do a human trafficking piece, talking to people who have been victims and learning more about it. Right now we're going through, that group of us is going through information about being more trauma-informed training, so that we aren't doing more harm than good. But our hope is to reach out to just people that are stuck in, unhealthy lifestyles, people that have been starting at strip clubs because people think, oh, I made that choice. And maybe you did, and maybe you didn't. Maybe you had been raised in a certain way that led you to feeling there was no other way to go, that kind of thing. And it's not ever about shame or judgment. It's about people gaining freedom to make their own choices that God would have them to make. They're reaching the purpose that He has for them instead of a purpose that someone else has for them. So that's kind of where those are some of the things we're working on right now. We do have people that go out second Sunday of the month to the outreach down at Reuters Park. So there are just different pieces and parts that are going on with Celebrate Recovery and with Trinity. So, and rather than talk too much, if anybody has any questions, you're totally welcome to ask.
It's good. Does anyone have any questions? We got probably like a good 5 to 10 minutes to do a Q&A. Okay, I'll start off. So I know Crossroads has a Celebrate Recovery. Are there any of the churches that have that? And if not, are there ways that you could see churches to kind of join?
Yeah, and we all the CRs kind of will partner together. We don't compete with one another. So if Crossroads needs something, we help them out, and they, vice versa. Right now in Lansing, Crossroads, there's a CR in Fowlerville. We partner with a group in Spring Arbor. There are other churches that have wanted to get stuff up and running, and we'll totally come alongside them. And there are state reps that will come in and help them get started. What people find out though is the CR at this church, I believe, has hit its 20-year mark. It is tough getting it started and getting good solid leaders, and it rises or falls on the leadership and how healthy they are. And so here we're blessed because we've been around so long. We've been able to grow, get through the growing pains and that kind of thing. But yeah, we always welcome. We just say, don't do it on a Thursday. Pick a different day of the week. So we have a different group we can go to every day of the week. So yeah, Crossroads is another great one.
Does anyone else have any questions?
I'm just curious about how the leadership is identified. Is it a volunteering person, or is it someone who's been through a training program? I know you said something about the trauma-informed training.
The trauma-informed training is very specific, and we're just reaching out into the community. We had Malia Belton from Ingham County RESA come out. We've done so they're very specific for that. For CR leadership, it's just like me. I came in, that broken person, my life falling apart, and come in and I get connected in and I go through a step study. And I could tell you more about that, but that's the nuts and bolts of it, is going through a step study. And out of that transformation, I decided I wanted to give back. Then there are trainings that Celebrate Recovery National has set up, and you walk your potential new leaders through those trainings and through some vetting too, because we certainly need healthy people in leader positions. So that kind of thing. So there is a training that they go through, but they can choose whether they want to, we don't go recruit them. They come to us and say, I want to be a leader.
So the starting point then would be the Celebrate Recovery, maybe website, get info there. Okay. Thank you. I need another hat, so.
Is there a testimony that sticks with you most of the work that you do?
Oh my gosh. Testimonies galore. We do. So in our large group that meets at 7 o'clock on Thursdays, we have our leaders and some recorded testimonies every other week, and it's all about transformed lives. And we're continually watching testimonies. So no, I think my favorite part about, if I wasn't on staff at Trinity Church as a ministry leader, would I stick around CR? Absolutely, because, and my favorite part would be to be in a step study, because as you work through the steps with a group of people, you are like front row, front and center for watching God transform lives. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing as people dig in and answer the questions and work with God and share those things with a group that they can trust, to watch them have these aha moments and total life change, complete life change. It's just amazing. And like I said, it's not about sobriety. Yes, we need sobriety from whatever that thing is that we struggle with, but it is really about a God transformation. Just absolutely amazing. That's my favorite part. And I just put my email address in the chat for those that would like that.
I don't have, hi Christy, it's great to see you here.
Hey, hi, Erica.
I don't have a question because I've been thoroughly educated on Celebrate Recovery for the years that I've spent there. So I just want to say thanks to Christy, and I do have just a short testimony about my experience with Celebrate Recovery. Is it was really the first time in my life where I learned like you always hear about, do you have a personal relationship with Jesus? But like going to Celebrate Recovery in like, you know, probably pretty close to my rock bottom, and learning how to actually have a relationship with God was very transformative for me. So
We are brand new to the Lansing area. We're about a year in, but I had a previous intern who had just finished the 12 steps of Celebrate Recovery and introduced me to it and to her fiance who had been through it. She had pulled herself out of a drug addiction, got her children back, graduated from community college, and working on her degree to become a financial planner. That's what I am, a financial planner.
Nice.
By trade. My husband's a pastor of Christ Community Church. Celebrate Recovery turned their entire life around and provided that whole family with a good father figure within the whole thing. So we don't have it at our church, but I truly believe in everything you do. So anything we can do to help.
Appreciate that. And I want to say again, with the various people here representing different churches, there's always, in this culture we live in, where everything's a competition and who's better than who, and the poison of comparison and all these things. I've just, as ministry leader, been blessed to watch people from different churches. So if a church is small and doesn't have the wherewithal to start a Celebrate Recovery, feel free to refer them to other Celebrate Recoveries. It's not about, as they call it, sheep stealing. Winning somebody to your churches isn't about that. It's just a community of broken people that walk together, and then they go home on Sundays to their home church. So it's just a safe place to go find some healing.
I'm really glad you made that point. That's kind of, I think, Adam shared with me in the very beginning when I started here 2 years ago, has it been? That a lot of churches will try to plant in other neighborhoods instead of somebody from the church that's already in the neighborhood with all those houses, figuring out how to reach those people. So I think it's really important. And yes, we're all on the same team,
Yes.
all wanting to help people. So thank you for sharing that. And I'd like to echo that as well. And if there's anything that we can do to support you at Mount Hope, I'm not the outreach leader there, but I can connect you. And we've got a large team of volunteers that like to, I think I've got Sakina and Willie Davis go down to Ruta Park as well. And there's also some friends that are Stephen's co-workers that are down there at the People's Park. So we love seeing these partnerships happen. So thank you.
Nice.
All right, thank you for that, Christy. So now we're going to kind of transition to speak about other resources that are available to help our community be safe. Now, currently I'm glad that, I think that's Luciana from the city of Lansing.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you now, yes.
Okay.
But
Can I just have a quick moment? Is that okay?
well, let me open it up to say,
Sure. Sorry, it was hard to hear you.
okay, no problem. Glad that you're here, but because right now the goal is to serve our community and again about hearing the actual needs expressed by the residents. It's befitting that the city rep is here to share possibly some data and information and resources as well. But we know that there's a rise of crime and violence due to the stories that have been released. And so now we're just going to hear from different organizations of what resources are available to help churches and other organizations serve residents. And so if you're ready.
Yeah, and I apologize for being late, and I actually have to jump off after this because I have to leave for a noon meeting, but I just wanted to say hello. Thank you all for doing this. We are putting the Interfaith Council together. We are going to have our first meeting with the council in September for the third quarter, and then we're planning a meet and greet. We are, Adam, to what you were saying, putting in our resources from all 200 faith-based is what I have on my list for the city of Lansing. And that is something that we're working diligently on to make sure that is shared throughout the community. So more to come on that. Again, Adam, I can put my information, I'll put my information in the chat before I have to leave, but please reach out to us. We're working with a lot of community resources and a lot of nonprofits and a lot of faith-based. So if there's anything we can do from a city perspective, please feel free to reach out to me. I apologize again that I do have to jump off here, but I will put my contact information and feel free to call me, email me. I'd be more than happy to talk to anybody one-on-one, get any resources or connect them to who they need. So thank you guys so much.
And yeah, well, also the emailing list that how can they join the list?
And what, that's a very, very good point. So if you just email me and tell me you're interested, I will send you the link to get on the faith-based, and you can be on that faith-based newsletter that we send out quarterly. I also send out a lot of resources, which Adam, I believe you're on that, that we get sometimes weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, but I can definitely send that out, and I can share your resources out to my list as well.
Awesome. I know there's lots to share, so hopefully you guys take action on that. And thank you again for joining us for this brief moment.
No, thank you so much. And again, I apologize. Thank you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi, Erica. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. And then I know that a few other people had jumped off too. That was Angela. Denise jumped on quickly from Kingdom Life Church. So hopefully she's okay with the technology. Sometimes it's against us, but we are going to eventually have some in-person options as well. So with that being said, I'm going to move forward to resource sharing. Vicki, if you're ready to share that resource.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So I have an organization, Elite Focus Enterprise, Inc., which we deal with K through 12th graders, along with family enrichment. It's a before and after school program. And the only requirements, you would have to operate 3 days a week is minimum, 2.5 hours to 4.5 hours per week. With that comes funding, supplement funding, and other resources that we have to offer. With the day and time that we're living in, we having more youth die of gun violence and other things in the streets. So I'm glad I did join the meeting today with all the drug addiction counseling and stuff that's online, I can add that to my portfolio of resources for the youth. And also we have a youth housing. So right now we're looking for sites to house our different programs at, and that's just a networking collaboration. So anything that we would request of is network together to make sure the safety of our youth is our main priority. So before and after school programs used to start at 7 and used to start at 3 p.m. and end at 7 p.m. And we do have transportation and it's absolutely free. And I believe Adam had the flyer he can post. And if anyone is interested, we are having a meeting on August 29th on Zoom with more in-depth information about the program. That'll be it.
Thank you. Yeah, and that again speaks to the safety of our communities. Out of school, after school, and before school time are times where youth are in need of things to keep positive and productive. And so I'm hoping that more churches will step up. And I know there's already churches doing the work, so I'm grateful for that. And I'm hoping that they can connect with Vicki so they can receive more resources and support, and also kind of just simply be recognized and honored for their work. One thing that I do value is sharing the good news of how churches are stepping up and serving communities. And so that's why the testimonies are valuable, because that opens up doors for new hearts to be impacted. And thank you, Vicki, for posting that flyer. We're also sending the flyer and the information out in our e-news that is going out. Also, this will be posted in our missionsfriends.com database. And so you can find out how to RSVP to just learn more about Vicki's event, which is next Tuesday at 11 a.m., 11 to 12. And basically we're gonna have her share more details and do more question and Q&A time with those who want to participate. So does anyone else have any other resources or data that they would like to share before I share more from Missions Field?
I do have. I do have. Let's see, yeah. I do have a little bit of data and resource through Jubilee. This is like some extrapolated data because the actual data that I'm looking for doesn't exist, and I don't have millions of dollars to do a study myself. But when I was looking into correlations between homelessness and youth gun violence, because well, our organization, Jubilee, we support households that are working to overcome homelessness with effective support and transformative opportunities. And I was looking into the correlation between youth gun violence and homelessness, which is kind of intuitive that it's there. But some of the recent experiences I've had, as far as like, we all know that it's been a very violent month in Lansing, and our organization had close ties to two young men that were victims of gun violence in Lansing recently. Fortunately, one of those young men will hopefully be able to walk again, and unfortunately, the other one lost his life. The connection is that kids that have experienced homelessness are 8 to 10 times more likely to be involved in youth gun violence as a victim, a witness, or a perpetrator. So as we all know, more than likely, you know, responding to gun violence in our community is not, there's not going to be just one way to do it. It's going to be something that we do holistically and comprehensively as a community. So when we address homelessness, no, we are not completely solving the problem of youth gun violence, but when we minimize the experiences and the trauma that happens when young people are homeless, then we are mitigating their risk of being involved in gun violence. So with that being said, one thing that we have coming up is our annual community event in September, where the goal is to advocate for and learn why it's important to build community for people that are working to overcome homelessness, and also just kind of celebrate the struggles that they've gone through. And we still have a little bit of space for performers and vendors, and there's ways that different organizations and groups could get involved and provide donations for the family that we're celebrating. And you can reach out to me directly or see the email for more information about our annual community event that happens on Saturday, September 30th. Thanks for letting me share.
All right. Is there anyone else that has anything else as far as resources and or information or research?
I would just like to share, for us, Christ Community Church is a downtown church. We are quite small in the midst of growing. One of the things that we are able to do, we're doing on October 14th, is a women's self-defense event. And Premier Martial Arts is actually coming to do some training just for us to know how to protect ourselves. And then I'm going to be I'm actually inviting some vendors in to come sit in addition to help give us additional resources and services. Cassandra, I don't know what you're doing, but that's what we've got on the docket. And so just getting that out community-wise. For us, our women's group is putting it on. Like we are a small but mighty team working hard to just support and build. We are on Ionia and Capitol downtown. The other thing that we do, my husband is an aspiring comedian, and we've had 3 comedians come in actually, just trying to get the wheels turning on that. The goal is, you guys all talk about really heavy things and really important things, but we also need to laugh and have some fun and joy within it all. And so that's what his effort is to provide some of that laughter, let everybody just kind of forget where they are, open their hearts up to Jesus, and pull him in, just to feel that love. So that's the whole those are things that we can do as a church where we stand today, and we love what we do. So anything that I can't type in the chat, my company blocks everything like that, so I'll get everything in there eventually. But October 14th, we'd love to have anybody and everybody join us for that event. We'd love to have a Celebrate Recovery booth or something. So anyway, I can.
Thank you, Emily. Well, if you email that information to Cassandra or to Erica, preferably Erica, they can get that information out to other churches. And so if there's no more, I'm going to share a few things. Again, this goes out to local churches and organizations. I think there's, how many on the list?
Over 100.
Over 100 churches and organizations. So we send this out monthly. So churches, leaders do jump on and off of meetings, as well as they listen to the recordings. And so it's good to hear that. So your information that you share is valuable and will be heard. And so a few other things. I don't want to get too overwhelmed with the information or data, but Rita from formerly the Safety Council, she had shared some things regarding safe community resources. Also, we also posted in the missionsfriends.com website, there's an event for active shooter support. And so, but with Rita, she had shared a couple of things, and I'm just briefly going to share them, but they will have to be also found in detail in our e-news that we send out or in our website that we have for you to find out more details. But there's 2 events that are still continuing on, which is another active shooting support event for churches to be trained. And additionally, there's a CPR and kind of just a training event for, again, helping churches effectively serve the community and residents that pass through the doors. And so there's no other details I have on that other than you will get the email with the dates and the times, but these are programs that are available in the community. I was at an event last night with, or it was actually hosted by the Lansing People's Assembly. Angela Stepter was on that meeting, who was on this meeting a while ago. And we heard some impactful data of our state and our local community. But out of our states, I think Michigan is 43rd place as far as ranked as safe communities go. And so that means we're at the very bottom, which is crazy. But that's including gun violence, crime, domestic violence, and so forth. And so that just, again, speaks to the need and also the value of the work that you guys do when it comes to keeping our community safe as charities and churches. And so I want to thank you guys for that. And hopefully we can move that data point higher. Not that we want to outrank others, because if ours outranks another state, that means the other state goes down. So hopefully all the states now, at some point become safe and there's no hierarchy. But either way, we hope Michigan and especially the Lansing area, we do our due diligence to help improve the community. And so, yeah, there's other items. I'm going to skip those, but we're going to move forward, and I'm going to share some exciting things coming up. So this weekend is our live voting for our charity challenge, as well as our in-person games and activities. And so this is happening at the Lansing Bless Fest. And the Lansing Bless Fest is celebrating their 20th year anniversary and this is taking place at the Dollar Riverfront Park. I do have a quick video to share in our slideshow if you just are dying to see what the Lansing Bless Fest is about. And so we share the screen again and show you guys this short video. Thank you. I think I got a message from Christy. All right, thank you again for Christy for sharing your time and information with us. We appreciate you. All right, so let me share this. Minutes.
So that is my why. The plan is recycle quick and send them to the block. Like you do it, get another shot. Curry your beautiful and take the op.
All right. Because of the data connectedness, I'm assuming it's Zoom going one direction and then YouTube coming in another direction, outward, inward traffic. I used to do IT for 15 years, and we're in a new space. The connection is probably not as good as it usually is. So with that being said, Blessfest is something that happens every year, but it takes place this Saturday from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. And there's free food. There's about 2,000 residents and families served who are vulnerable families that get blessed with resources, clothing, haircuts, and hairstyles. Sometimes I get massage therapists and chiropractors to come out and give out free adjustments and massages. And so it's a fun, impactful activity. There's a whole lot of great music involved as well from multiple artists. And then additionally, Missions Field brings a special part called the Charity Challenge, where we actually mobilize the attendees get to sign for volunteer opportunities, basically, and they find ways to kind of assimilate ways to serve. So we have about currently 6 nonprofits that are signed up to produce these fun activities that simulate giving or charitable actions, such as toss the ball in a cup and win a prize. But the goal is to simulate how that helps connect to their charity. I know there's another one about tennis. So they're going to be doing some tennis things and talking about mentoring and tutoring. And so there's a Nerf challenge. So all these cool things are going to happen. But the goal is to, number one, is to really get people to sign up and engage in serving their community and not just being served. So that's the element we add to the Bless Fest as a charity challenge goes. We add an option for people to get blessed through serving. So if you are a nonprofit and you want to be a part of that, please do. I mean, we got maybe 2 more days to sign up for that, but the email did go out and we'll send another one out before Saturday. Let me see if this slide works because I don't trust slideshows right now. All right, there. Yeah, all right. Well, hopefully it'll catch up to my click. Anywho. There it is. All right. So additionally, the special part of the charity challenge is we get to celebrate charities by helping the community vote for their favorite nonprofit. And so nonprofit just has to be a 501(c) in Michigan, but this is our last year winner was Casa for Kids. And the nonprofit wins $1,000 donation. And so this year it's the same amount and same process, and we have more partners at the table. And so we're looking forward to putting another smile on another nonprofit leader's face. And so if you have a nonprofit or if you know one that you want to vote for or nominate, you can nominate your nonprofit now until Friday night. And then by Saturday, we're going to do a live voting from 1 to 3 p.m. and then select the winner at 3 p.m. And so with that, we hope you guys take advantage of the opportunity to either celebrate or nominate or honor your nonprofit that you are, whether you're serving or you're running, and also just find ways to just overall celebrate charitable works that they do. And so we're going to move forward, and I think that is all the detailed things that I have. So now I'm going to pass it back to the slow technology that is going to come. All right, might be faster if I just do this. Sit out. Go to the next slide. Okay. All right, so we have Erica, who's going to talk about empowerment and empowering through story sharing. So without further ado, cheers, Erica.
Thanks, Adam. Yes, we're going to talk about how stories and testimonies empower us and empower others to move on and do the work that's before us. Everybody's favorite part. We're going to do a breakout discussion with one other person. So you're going to be matched with one other person. And the main goal is to just get you guys connecting and interacting. That's how great collaborations start. And here's some guidelines for your conversation. It's going to be about 5 minutes, our breakout session. So if you want to take about 2 minutes per person and then about a minute to wrap up before we get warped and teleported back into the main session. Here's a couple questions that you can explore with your partner. So you can talk about one thing that you plan to do with what you've learned from this meeting and share one outreach testimony. So go ahead, Adam, when you're ready, and put us into some breakout rooms. Well, I'm the one that's okay. Okay, looks like we're all back from great story sharing session. So trying to see who all's here because I would love to get some of you guys to share your partner's testimony. So Vicky, I see you with a big bright smile, looking excited.
Well, me and Cassandra was in, we were talking, so I was on my car thing, so I really couldn't hear her. So we were, going back and forth with them, and I turned my car off, then it was clear, but that just happened in 60 seconds. So, great meeting her, and then the collaboration will be awesome. So that's what I have to say. And that's a nice thing to do, breakout rooms, get to know individuals.
Okay. Thanks for that feedback. Emily, do you have any highlights to share from your conversation?
Like, we struggled with the communication, the technology. So,
oh shucks.
But I am gonna talk to Tim about the space and see if there's something that we can do. I think we could manage some of that.
That's great to hear. I think that's all. I think we'll move on to the next part. And so you can see this silhouette here and you can't recognize that person. But if you turn the lights on, you would see that it's you, because we would love for you to post your stories and testimonies in our social database, our network for our charitable friends. Testimonies and stories are what really empower and encourage other people to get motivated and emotionally invested in making a difference. So they really are important. They serve to celebrate, encourage, empower, all these great things. So we would love for you to share your testimony in that section. It doesn't have to be anything special. It can actually be anything. It can be 2 sentences. It can be 2 paragraphs. You can draft a whole article in there. You can link to other articles. I did our consultant today, Stephen, that was on. I posted just a real quick article about him in there last night that just shares a couple words on my experience with Stephen, and also a podcast that he hosts, and a link to a news article about the work that his organization's doing. So you can post a video in there, whatever you want to post. So we love to see that in there. And we also have in our database section where you can post your events. We're looking at the, yeah, this is the story about Stephen that I posted last night with just, I didn't write anything too extravagant or anything, but I wanted to get him some information about him up there so that we can get to know him better in our community. And those of you that have not met him before now kind of know what he's talking about. And you can see down, it will say, click here to listen to his podcast, and click here to read more about Lifeboat. So that's that part. We can navigate. Are we gonna pray now? Okay, we're gonna pray now. I'm gonna give it back to Cassandra and we're gonna pray now.
Oh man, this has been a really great meeting. I'm excited about all the people that were able to pop in and out. We appreciate everyone's time so much. And do remember that all of the information that we hope to share with one another can be plugged into our network. So for those of you that are still on, get on our network, update all your information, and make sure we all know how to reach each other I'm really excited about what's happening in Lansing and moving forward. We're going to seek our Heavenly Father in this space that we have cultivated over the last couple of years. This is something unique, God, and we thank you for the opportunity to be able to serve in this capacity, and for all of the outreach leaders that have come together throughout our various meetings, Lord, and throughout our network that you are establishing here in Lansing, so that we can see your kingdom come to fruition, Lord, so that we can revitalize our city, and so that you can take back some of the territory that the devil has tried to steal. God, we know that you are all powerful, and that if your children call you by name, that you will be there in full force and full effect, and that we are all anointed with your power through the Holy Spirit and through the sacrifice that Jesus made on the cross. God, we thank you for all of these things. And we ask that you would be with our city leaders, our elected officials, God, that the decisions that they make will be ones that help to uplift and support the most vulnerable in our city. We know that there are a lot of developments coming, God, that you've inspired some of these plans to be able to grow Lansing's capacity, God, but at the same time, we implore that you intercede on behalf of those who are going to be left behind, if not for your children who are reaching out to them in those dark places, God. We know that there are going to be new skyscrapers, and that at the same time that everyone here who has feet on the ground is reaching our hands up to the sky, to the only thing in this earth that is worth living for, and that is in worshiping you, God, so that everyone has the opportunity to get to know you and to know what Jesus did for them, so that their souls can be redeemed and that there can be continued salvation growing in our city. And we ask that Michigan once again be that beacon of light that we were in the past, and that the capital city is the prime place to do so, God. We know that we are going to be talked about in news and movies, as we always have been, God, but that it will be something we can be proud of, and that it can be something that families from other parts of the world can look to as examples of how a city can come together, God. And we just praise you that you're going to continue to be present with us, the people here, as well as the other outreach leaders that we've connected with, God, that you would put a special anointing over them so that they can, in their respective areas, be able to continue leading by example, the example that was set by Jesus, not one that is based in pride, ego, or arrogance, God, or that there be division removed from each and every one of us, so that we can work together and cultivate these partnerships for the seed that you planted. And I thank you for Adam for planting that seed, and for Erica and Michelle and everyone who has worked on this project together, God, that we would be able to come away from every experience and every encounter being blessed and able to overflow into the people around us. And we thank you through Jesus' name. Amen. And we look forward to seeing you all again. Please do check our website for previous recordings. There may be some connections that you can make there. And hope you have a great day. All right.
Amen.